So this is the Beauty Below Blend Bunny palette. First time trying Blend Bunny, certainly first time trying this palette. A couple things to point out is that it did come damaged, so I had to repress this particular shade at the bottom called Mesmerizing, which happens to be the color I was most excited for because I enjoy a classic red-brown base shimmery color. Um, so that was disappointing. Nonetheless, I was planning on swatching all the mattes and then all the shimmers. There's an even number of both. There's a few different color stories in here. I personally see them as sort of like pinky tones and purples, and then a very sort of dark, grungy color story. But I think they also advertise it as you can see this in quads. I didn't know this was a new release. I just happened to be browsing Glisten Cosmetics for the first time in my life. I was like, well, this is really pretty. And I've heard really good things about Blend Bunny's mattes particular. So I was like, surely can't go wrong with super colorful mattes. And I don't really enjoy the rainbow gradational color stories anyways. So this was really nice and fun. So starting off with the mattes, this is the first time I've touched this one. This is a dark purple matte with blue tones in it. It is a little hard to pick up and a little hard to build. You can see it's eggplant with a bit of ultramarine. So very, very sheer. It doesn't really build up really well. And unfortunately, this doesn't surprise me based on my limited experience so far. And this is what it looks like after swatching. This is more of a classic royal purple with a hint of magenta in it. Also goes on really sheer. As long as I build up, it's not really an issue, and I don't have eye primer underneath. And then we're going to move into the two browns, which are Entrapment, which is a charcoaly brown, not chocolate. So this one went on a bit easier. That's what it looks like after. And then Abduction is sort of a yellowy mustard brown. So that looks over there. I do believe the next two mattes are technically not eye safe in certain countries. Tempt looks like a really dark maroony red, and it is very hard to pick up. So you would think they look pretty similar to the first purple. They're actually a little different, but again, this really depends on how well it built up. Right now, it's not looking amazing. Siren Shriek is easier to pick up. It's like a neon pinky orange red. So that was much easier to work with. But you can see all these mattes are quite sheer. Personally, the only ones I've used so far are the ones coming up. So Dark Truth, Beware the Mermaid, and Murky Waters in the green family. So first, Dark Truth. Again, very hard to pick up with the finger. I do feel like these picked up better with a brush. Really dark color, but I later watched reviews after my purchase. I'm not too worried. Like, you can see that's a dramatically different color when sheared out. Beware the Mermaid is your classic seafoam green. It's showing up a little yellow on my finger for some reason, but it's not. And then Murky Waters. Nope, we're gonna go to Take Heed, which I think is a true black. Yeah, it looks like a true black to me. Still on the chocolatey brown side. Fairly pigmented. Murky Waters is this sort of taupey green, yellowy color. Very pale. It did not show up on my eye very well at all. Turns out it's quite close to my skin tone. And the last two mattes are Abyss and Watery Grave. So Abyss is, oh, I lied, I also use this. It's a dark blue that I found really easy to pick up with a brush. And then the last one is Watery Grave, which is like closer to a periwinkle. So from top to bottom, we have Devour, Beckon, Entrapment, Abduction. I need to check what the shade is. Tempt, Siren Shriek, Dark Truth, Wear the Mermaid, Take Heed, Murky Waters, Abyss, which is this dark blue, and Watery Grave. And again, I find them all quite different actually. Generally speaking, like, I wouldn't say any of these are similar to each other. Certainly in saturation and depth. And I do think Siren Shriek has the smoothest formula for picking up on a finger in a more like swatchy sense. And I'm just wiping this off with a baby wipe to see. I didn't get any staining from the single swatch that I did, but I also didn't press them very hard because my application for myself is very, very gentle. So I also wanted to swatch the shimmers. I'm not familiar with any of the names of these, and I don't actually know what they're supposed to be. So I'll tell you what I think they are. Actually, Abyss did stain my finger a little bit. So the first one is called Lull and Slay, which looks like a pale, cool tone purple with a hint of silver blue shimmer in the pan. And it flattens out to a metallic, looks like. So swatched out is very metallic. So silver sparkle with a bit of pink, actually, pink sparkle as well. Throughout, there is no blue in this particular swatch. Again, single finger swatch. That's how I wear them. Intoxicating is more of a mid-tone purple. It looks actually a lot darker on the finger with a hint of bronze in the base. And I also see silver sparkle throughout it. Yeah, so this one's got quite a charcoaly, bronzy base with some silver sparkle throughout, and also some pink in the same pink family actually as the sparkle in the previous shade Lull and Slay. The next one is a peachy pinky gold called Her Prey. This one is probably quite a classic shade in a lot of indie makeup. I'd say it's a bit more bright pink neon, and then it shifts gold. And there's no other sparkles in here other than pinky gold, so it's a classic pink gold duochrome-esque situation. Next is Deadly Fleet, which was very soft. It's got a black base to it. So very dark, sooty, black base with a silver, maybe a little bit of blue sparkle in it. So the first two shimmers, and this is what the fingers look like. And it may be hard to discriminate the shimmer colors now that I have my fingers coated in shimmers. Atagardis, which I don't know how it's actually pronounced, is a bright fuchsia magenta. Doesn't look like it has sparkle in the finger swatch, but it definitely does. It has the same pinky sparkle as everything else. Honestly, a very boring shade. Carnivorous is a purple, mid-tone, muted, not that different from Intoxicating, but warmer. And pulls very differently on the skin. It's very metallic. No shimmer to my eye. I don't know if it's going to focus. I'm going to move on to Mesmerizing, which was the shade that arrived shattered. So I don't know if the press is going to be the same. But again, it is a classic reddy brown base with a golden green shimmer and reflect. No sparkles inherently in it. So that's what that looks like on the finger. And after that is Irresistible, which felt very flaky and picked up really, really easily. This is a bright turquoise with a bit of a green base and a strong blue metallic shimmer throughout it. Also no sparkles. That's what that looks like. And then the last four is veering back into neutral territory, I think. Last four, Trance, which I have used once. It was gold, green, antique gold color. Trance, antique gold. No sparkles. Cursed is a different kind of black. Deadly Fate was also a blackish metallic with sparkles in it. Cursed almost looks like it has more green in it. It looks like it's got some blue sparkles. Actually, it's very multicolored sparkles in this one. So quite different, and it's a lot thicker than Deadly Fate was. Immersed is a pinky blue. Oh, it's very sheer. So it's a much sheerer lavender blue color. Yeah, you can see the swatches. Very toppery, very iridescent, but it has like a faint lilac-y base. There's no distinct sparkles in this one either. And the last one is Pulled Under, which looks like another sparkly black with blue sparkles. So let's take a look. Yep, blue, purple, silver sparkles. And that's what those swatch fingers look like. Honestly, a very interesting palette. I prefer the matte color story more than the shimmers. The shimmers are of varying quality. I can tell you right off the bat that I will probably use Mesmerizing, Immerse, Her Prey, and Trance the most. But yeah, top to bottom. So Lull and Slay. And then Intoxicating, which is barely a shimmer. Her Prey in classic pinky gold, not in focus. But Deadly Fate is black with a little bit of silver. Atagatis, really, really boring pink. Carnivorous, much prettier, really rich, rosy brown purple. Let's see if I can just focus elsewhere. Mesmerizing, classic, red brown, Irresistible, Trance, Curse, which was super multicolorful, with a lot of sparkles in it. Immerse, very sheer topper-like. Could build up really, really nicely though. And the last black color, which is Pulled Under. So all in all, not everything actually has sparkle in it. A lot of them are smooth metallic satins with a strong color shift. And just wiping them off my arm, see if any of them stain. So I would definitely say the blue stains, the Irresistible color, this one. That one seems to have stained quite a bit. And then after that, Cursed actually had left a bit of residue, but it could just be a high pigment load. That one also was the richest feeling in terms of texture, but I did find Irresistible really easy to pop off as well. So, certainly questionable why I purchased this. I purchased it a bit on a whim. I was like, these colors, really, really like. Don't have a lot of them in good quality mattes, and I really wanted to try the Blend Bunny formula at some point. This color I also really like. So it's really Beware the Mermaid that I felt like meh about. At some point I had a really similar color in the ColourPop The Child palette, but I've since long misplaced it. Trance also reminds me of that color because it had a very like sparkly scattered gold effect. But Trance is a little more creamy and packs on a bit more of a punch. I had a strong feeling I wasn't gonna like this color. I was right. It's very, I don't know, just kind of boring to be honest. I really enjoy all the purple sparkles though. Intoxicating, very, very brown. Carnivorous, like a dark. I think this would make a really pretty liner. Um, Her Prey is a classic, and so is Mesmerizing and Immerse. These ones are really easy. So I think Deadly Fate, Cursed, Irresistible, and Pulled Under, the darker, bluer tones, I think are going to be the hardest ones for me to use. I think Cursed might make it out for evening looks. I strongly suspect I'm never going to use Deadly Fate. Like, that color doesn't call to me in any way, shape, or form. It's like gray, charcoal, brown with sparkles. I don't get it. Um, yeah, so I think this palette could have been condensed. I think if you took out like those colors and actually just those colors actually, I think this makes a much prettier palette. And just take out these two colors. But I also think these two shimmers could have gone. I'm not entirely sure we needed Take Heed. It's a nice enough black. But yeah, so if we got rid of these, left Abduction because I really like that, and perhaps pulled out Siren Shriek or Atagatis, this would have been a much more functional palette. So yeah, I believe they're sending me a new one whenever they get new stock, because this one was it actually had damage inside of the packaging before I even opened it up. So that's too bad. And it did scatter sparkles everywhere. So first Blend Bunny Cosmetics palette. Not loving it. I don't know. Matte Smart weren't really what I thought it would be. But we'll see how it goes on.